If you're watching this and you are over 40, I'm here to tell you that you need to be a content creator because it's just a massive life-changing opportunity. And I want to talk to you about why you need to do it, as well as my story and, who's this guy telling you that you should be a content creator. This is very different than what I normally do for my videos, but I felt like I needed to just sort of have a conversation with you. Yes, you, because this is important enough for me I think to just try to have a coffee conversation with you about becoming a content creator over the age of 40. So we haven't met. I'm Robbie. I am 51 years old. My journey as a full-time over 40 creator started back in 2002 when I was fired from my job. I used to work in like a corporate video producer, working in different companies, working for different industries, making videos. And I always felt like a misfit in the corporate 9-to-5 world. I'd been a supervisor and a manager, and I'd worked under people. And, I never really found my place. I found myself being bullied a lot and, being told that, I'm sorry I hired you, you're not a good fit. So not exactly the most nourishing experience of me being in a 9-to-5. And then I lost my job in September of 2022. And then for about a year, I was Ubering. That was the only way that I was able to, provide income for my family. I was, just trying to get back to being a full-time video producer. That's what my skill set was. And just being completely shut out of that opportunity and, becoming depressed and, lack of self-worth and so many things in that journey, trying to wonder, was my career as a video producer, as a creator over before I turned 50. But then in December of 2023, I saw an article called "Your Mom Should Be a UGC Creator." I had no idea what that was, but it turned out to be that people were making videos for brands. And UGC stands for User Generated Content. What you're doing is you're making videos for brands that they will use on their social media pages and as mostly for ads, like on TikTok and Instagram. You probably scrolled by one of my ads. The difference between, being a YouTuber and being an influencer was that these people, they didn't need an audience. They didn't need, followers. These were just normal, everyday people making videos. And it was like, well, I've made videos for brands before. I can do this. And then the article talked about somebody, Eileen Munoz. She was, I want to say 55 at the time I saw the article. And, she had kind of been the same thing that I was. Didn't like her job, didn't fit in the corporate thing, and found UGC and started making it. She had no content creation experience at all. And by the time the article came out, she was making about $350 per video. And that was like, wow, if this woman can do it, I can do this. So having been a video producer, I was able to produce my UGC example videos very quickly, got those up in about 2 weeks, and then I posted my videos on Twitter and just sort of waded into the waters of UGC, just, meeting other creators, replying, and about 3 weeks into my journey, I started on Monday, and this was Wednesday, I got one deal for $100 and was just blown away. But then a day later, I got a 4-video deal for $1,200. And my mind was blown that this was, I didn't have to go through a process. These people want me to make a video. And it took off from there. That started my full-time journey into being a UGC creator. And that's what I do now. I'm a full-time UGC creator, and I help other people learn how to be UGC creators. If you don't know what UGC is, but you're curious about it, I've got a guide down in the description for you to click on. It's free. Tells you all about how to get started. Yeah, I've been doing this full-time ever since, and it's so much fun to do, and I'm here to show other people that you can do this. So the first question you probably have is, why? Why should you do this? You may think that content creation is like a younger person's game, being like a YouTuber, an influencer. What is it about people over 40? Like, why should they do this? And the reason is because there's an opportunity. User-generated content started out as something that like 20 and 30-year-olds did. Those were the people that were really interested in possibly becoming influencers or running their own YouTube channel. They were comfortable talking to camera, you know, kind of like maybe the original content creators in that age group. And then as brands discovered UGC, they were hiring more younger creators to do their videos. And then after a while, brands that catered to older people saw the opportunity that UGC had. Like, oh, we can make these videos for less expensive than doing a full-on commercial shoot, and it'll work out great because people like and respond to this kind of style. The problem for those companies was that there just wasn't anybody over 40 doing UGC. And if you have a product that's geared towards older people, like prostate or menopause pills, then you need somebody that age to be in your commercial. You're not going to get a 30-year-old to talk about menopause. That's not going to sell the product. So there just became this demand, and there still is a demand. There's still a huge demand for people over 40 to do UGC because as more companies see the opportunity that UGC has for them, they're going to need more older creators. So especially older guys. If you're an older guy over 40 and you learn how to do this, you'll be able to get pretty good work. I like to think I'm the only guy over 50 doing this, but I'm not. I found it a lot different than, I don't know, if you've ever applied for a job, that there just doesn't seem to be demand for you. I mean, there's just thousands of people applying for one job, and you know, there's more supply than demand, where in UGC, I mean, they just need older people because there's so few of us. So it's just an amazing opportunity and availability for work to be able to do this. Another reason you should do UGC is for the money. Yeah, people always want to know about the money, so here it is. Last year, 2004, I made just over $52,000 doing this, strictly with my UGC money. And you know, that's a pretty decent full-time salary for some people, depending on what industry you're in. And what's great about that is that I'm not limited by, I don't have like a salary or a salary cap. I can make as much money as I want if I'm working a lot or taking every UGC deal. So, you know, if you're doing this, if you just take every single deal that you can do very well. The thing with UGC deals is that they fluctuate in terms of price and scope and how many videos that you're doing. So there's not a one-size-fits-all deal. Some people will offer you $50 for a video. Some people will offer you $300 for a video. I've made $1,000 just by doing one video. So it wildly fluctuates, and you know, the more deals you take, the more money you will make. When it comes to monthly, it fluctuates. My thing is that, you know, I think you can make between $3,000 to $5,000 as an older UGC creator if you're doing this full time. The most I've made in a month is $10K earlier this year in January. And as much as the internet puts out there that, you know, you're making $10K a month doing this like every month, I just don't think that's the reality. You might not want to take every deal that comes in. Don't believe what the internet says about that. But I mean, again, if you work more, you'll make more. Again, the 3 to 5K, I think for me is a good range. You know, covers all the bills, helps me work on my business. I mean, there's a tremendous opportunity for income for doing UGC as an older creator. Another reason to be an older creator doing UGC, and one that I really find is the most important one, is the time flexibility. You don't have a supervisor. You don't need to do this 9 to 5. There's just all the traditional corporate things just fly out the window when you do this. If you don't want to work on a Wednesday or Thursday, you can, if you're better working on a Saturday, you know, I'm filming this on a Saturday, you can do that as well. and you're just allowed the flexibility to live life as you want. If you've got kids that still need attention, or you have an older parent that you want to spend time with, you can just work around your schedule to get stuff done. And that's, after being in the 9-to-5 world, just having that flexibility and knowing that you can still get paid to live life. Last year I took 2 weeks off to do, took my family to see Washington, D.C., and I went home back to Boston. Go Red Sox. And, during my week, I enjoyed the flexibility of, I can go see a movie on Tuesday if I want to. Heck, Thursday we stood in line for barbecue for 3 hours. And, there was no judgment. As long as you're able to get stuff done on time and agree with the client on the deadlines, then the time is how you make it. Maybe you like working at night. Bless you, but that's not my thing. But just the time flexibility that you're allowed to live your life is just something that I can't give that up. Another thing that is great about being an older creator is this. You're building something for yourself. That's the overarching theme of this one, is that you're able to build something that's your own creator business, your own freelance business, however you want to take that. So much in the corporate world is like building somebody else's dream, somebody else's company. You're just like a cog, just easily replaceable, as you may have seen through like everybody getting laid off. But with being a UGC creator allows you to build your own thing. And there's such a sense of like pride and accomplishment in doing that. Never felt that invested in a lot of the corporate jobs. I was just another person that could just be laid off at any time. That's how I felt. I kind of expected to get fired because you're just in that system that you have no control over. While here, you can set your own rates. You can hire freelancers to help you out. And I love having my own business, helping older creators and coaching them through, all the things that help them do creators. If you need coaching, just click that link. I'll be happy to help you do that. It's just I get to do so many fun things, and I get to do that on my own terms. And I build something that's very personal to me and is extremely fulfilling. If you're at that stage, maybe you're retired and you just think there's got to be more to life than just like sitting around watching TV or whatever retired people do. My parents go to Disney World because they live in Orlando, so that's their life. Watch TV, go to Disney. Maybe that's your thing, but if you want, I'm just a driven person to do projects. And I know there's a few retirees that I work with that are just doing something that's, gives them some sort of purpose and flexibility and fun and creativity. The great thing about being a UGC creator is that it's going to give you skills that, they're in demand. They will consistently be in demand because short form video is not going away. So once you learn the basics of writing and performing on camera and scripting and editing, you can use those to do like so many different things. You can have your own YouTube channel. You can coach other creators. You can, talk about your hobbies or interests and coach other people and sell digital products. Just being a UGC creator, even if you just want to stay in the UGC realm, you can work on scripting, or you can be a creative strategist, somebody that works with brands, like for brands, to develop the strategies. You can just be like a freelance editor if you want to. Just learning the skills of a content creator open up so many avenues for you to do creative things and to, get paid for doing those things. Just the time investment you put in yourself in making UGC content, that's valuable. Again, video's not going away. There's still demand for featuring older creators, talking about their skills, their hobbies, teaching you how to play guitar, teaching you how to play chess. You've got skills. You've got stuff that you have learned that other people want to learn, and you can, monetize your skills to help other people. There's so many opportunities outside of UGC. I don't want you to, I don't want to jump ahead. Just, learn UGC. My guide can kind of show you how to get started. I think I've said enough for you. If you're here, you're definitely interested in being an older creator, and I encourage you to start. Feel free to email me at robbie@creatorlater.com with all of your questions about being an older creator. Older UGC is my thing, and I'm so glad I found this. This got me out of a really dark time in my life, and it has, you know, just changed things so much. You know, running my own business, the time that I have, the flexibility that I have, the ability to, you know, I can make these videos on YouTube, and that's important to me. And it's all thanks to doing this user-generated content. You know, it's everything I've learned in the past, and, you know, just continuing on in different ways of making fun videos and getting paid really well, and just putting myself into a full-time job, which I don't know if I really had that in a lot of other jobs. Except when I worked on the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. That was really all me. That was part-time though. Yeah, I was the guy on the boat telling the jokes, you know, the backside of water and all that stuff. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking the time. I hope this really convinces you to be a UGC older creator at your age, because there's so much opportunity. And I know if you commit to it, you will do so well, and it'll change your life.